of them. So
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the
Hey.
AWS Builder Center Trivia. Hello, Darko. How are you doing?
hey, Steph, it's been ages since you've and I've appeared on a live stream together. So it is really good to see you.
I was trying to think. We obviously years ago, I don't know if you know, we did a live stream together in Portland. It was a 5-hour live stream where we created. If you're on Twitch, you can still find a little sticker of me
Yeah,
in the giant jumper.
Yes, there's a if you're on Twitch, twitch.tv/AWS, there's a little Steph emote. So that's amazing. Well,
I can't believe
yeah,
it.
I was cleaning up my garage the other day, and I found a whole lot of props from that event because I remember you bringing that little dumbbell and a whole lot of things. So I still have it here with me, along with the FinOps book that you gave me or I got somehow. So there you go. And then that's the emote. Amazing.
Yeah, and then there's the one of you.
Okay. Yeah.
Old school computer tech.
Well, excellent. Hey, Steph, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to be doing this little trivia session and give away some prizes. I've never gotten to give away prizes on a stream before, so I'm very excited to be able to give some out. Don't worry, we'll explain how to do that shortly. So Chris has put, I didn't realize that was Steph. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It is Steph. Absolutely. Well, amazing. Well, yes, we have some prizes today. This is kind of similar to in the spirit of those live stream we did a couple of weeks ago, where it was just me talking about serverless. Today, Steph and myself are talking about developer productivity, whatever that may be. We have a bunch of questions for you. We want you to answer the questions. We want you to comment on a place, and you have a chance to win. What do they have a chance to win?
I think it's $200 worth of credits, which is, you can get a lot done. And I'm sure if you follow any of the shows with Darko or me, there's so many things that we can show you how to build with all of those credits, which is awesome. And a keyboard. Now, I'm very jealous of this keyboard. I think it's very, very cool. I'm trying to pull up the picture so I can show everybody where it is. But my picture is so zoomed out. It looks very funny.
Okay. Yes, we have a really nice looking keyboard for you. It's coming from the folks from over at AWS Builder Center. We're gonna have Chris drop a link to the Builder Center as well, where you can check a lot of the great content, anything around developers, people who do stuff on AWS. And that is the keyboard we're gonna be giving out. I love it.
It lights up as well. I'm so jealous. I'm like, can I enter this competition? Because I want it.
I have a version of this keyboard, not the specific one. I have the exact version of this keyboard. For folks out there in the keyboard world, this is a Keychron keyboard. You know, if you know your keyboards, you know Keychron is a great kind of a gateway into keyboards. So definitely worth it. It is heavy. It is very comprehensive. It may be illegal in some states due to its weight, but
some offices probably some of that noise pollution it would make. Jeez.
Exactly.
But if you're wondering, okay, how do I get into this? I think we should tell the folks. They're going to put the link in the chat, but first of all, you have to go over to Builder Center and create an account. If you haven't yet, what are you doing? This is the place for builders to come to share information, to learn, and you can go in there to my article specifically from the episode. And at the very bottom, there is a comment section. What we want you to do is just tell us, super simple today, what is your favorite developer tool? Comment that. Make sure you have an account for this. The only way you can comment is by having a Builder Center account. And from this, one person will be picked out of all the comments. So you might as well enter. You never know how many people are going to enter. And you will have a lucky chance to win that $200 of credit as well as that gorgeous keyboard. Darko, if you were going to enter, what would you put as your developer tool? And we'll come into maybe what those are, but what would you put quickly?
I actually have that little developer, well, at least an allusion to that developer tool tattooed on my arms. So it's chat, what's the objectively the best text editor in the world? It's a Vim. So I would put Vim as my favorite developer productivity tool in the world, because I think the developer productivity sounds like a very big word, and like, oh, this is a suite of tools. It's actually anything that makes you as a developer be more productive. In my case, it's a really good text editor, and shout outs to Vim. So yeah. What is your developer productivity tool, Steph?
I feel like there's obviously the recency bias of things like Q, which have definitely sped up how I do a lot of my work.
Yeah.
But the thing I push for a lot in my teams is utilizing infrastructure as code. So CloudFormation is the one that I do, and I used to use a lot of Terraform. But I feel like that falls under that speeding up. I remember we used to make things by hand, then we moved into CloudFormation, but mainly when we moved into YAML away from JSON, and how that was a game changer in terms of not having to do all the syntax errors that I used to get. I still remember trying to build stuff, and it would just take me hours before I could really figure out what things were wrong. So definitely shout out that. Chat, let us know. Well, no, let us know in the Dropbox. That's what we want. So we want you to go to this link. We need to go there, enter. If you don't enter, then I'll take the keyboard, because we all know that I want it.
Exactly. Yeah, I already commented on it because I need that keyboard. But I do see a lot of great folks joining us. I've seen folks here from Morocco. We have folks from all over the place kind of here. So hey, chat, welcome. It's great to have you here. There's a link to the article where we want you to write down your what is your developer productivity tool, and for that you need to have a builder ID. So like, first of all, let's talk a little bit about the builder ID. Now, the AWS builder ID is kind of a way for you to authenticate to a bunch of AWS properties and platforms, which include but are not limited to the Builder Center, Amazon QCLI, AWS training and certifications, skill builder things, which we're going to be using in today. So if you do not yet have an AWS builder ID, I highly encourage you to do so. If you go to that link posted in the chat, you click on it, you go sign in. If you don't have an account, you should definitely go and create one right now, because we're going to be using it today for the trivia questions we do have. So amazing.
We also have this comment, which is loving your background, Darko, and Steph, the lighting is on spot. We both committed to having lots of lights. Also, funny thing, if anyone watched my show yesterday, this was off. And I was like, something was wrong with it. And it turned out I sent a message to the person who made it, which is a friend. And he was like, Steph, you've somehow put it on audio setting. So when I would yell, it would come. I didn't even know that was a thing for these lights. So
wow. Okay. That's amazing. Yeah. Good background lights are always important. So, okay. Shall we bring out some of the trivia questions right now?
Yes. Okay, folks, as you are getting into your builder account, you can now use that to join our trivia session. So all you need to do is either scan that QR code if you want to do it on your phone, or if you're watching us on your laptop and you want to join, grab that trivia link. We'll make sure that the folks get that in the chat. You can kind of copy it and use that to join. So we're going to be asking a bunch of questions. This is just a pride situation. We want you to have a go, test your knowledge, see how much you know about developer productivity. While people are joining, Darko, how would you describe overarchingly what developer productivity tools and services are with AWS?
Well, I kind of alluded to this a little bit when we started. Is it's anything that helps you become better in the things you're building, right? Be that building that simple application that's gonna transcribe videos, or building a whole fully fledged like production thing. So that can be anything from your text editor to your coding assistant to the SDK you use to even things such as a platform that helps you deploy things such as Amplify, or even I think, Steph, you mentioned infrastructure as code is one of those developer productivity tools. It's and the thing is, those things have changed throughout the years, what they are and what they're not. So your answer may not be current, but it is probably not wrong. So definitely kind of all of the suite of
Sweet. Yeah,
The suite of tools, the suite of tools that helps you basically be a better developer. So it's and the thing is, you only know how good they are once you don't have access to them. So
True.
I've experienced that in my life in the past where I had to use a different text editor than I'm normally used to. And I felt like, oh my God, I don't know how to function here anymore. It took me so much longer because all of my little things are gone. So yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Let me try to log into this trivia because the previous one didn't work.
Okay.
So
I'll sorry, that's my bad, folks. This is the one. Last minute changes. It's the one with the 6. Okay, good. Chris has put it in the link. We're hoping that you're all just kind of creating those builder IDs, and these numbers are going to start going up soon. But this trivia is a bit of fun. Your way to win the prize is still going to be commenting on the whatchamacallit, I think. Oh, here we go, the numbers are going up. But when like you were saying, Darko, I remember when I was I actually was a consultant for a bit, don't tell anyone. And when I was doing that, the customer we were working with, they didn't allow for us to use some of the developer productivity tools. Specifically, we couldn't use infrastructure as code for one of their accounts. And I was just like, how do I do this? How do I build? This is not on.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating, and I think the world of developer productivity has kind of like exploded in recent years, I guess. With the advent of cloud, we had a lot of changes in the way we develop stuff. But in the last couple of years, especially with the rise of coding assistants, developer productivity means a different thing slightly today, right? Like how more successful can you be as a developer with all of the coding assistants today? So definitely you will see a lot more companies kind of adopt the moniker of developer productivity, just like they would talk directly about what makes their developers a lot more productive, right? As Marco is saying, a Swiss Army knife. I mean, to an extent, right? It is kind of your Swiss Army knife of things you use to become a better developer.
Sure.
Okay, cool. So we have 11 participants on this one. Great. I think do you want us to kick it off? Well, actually, you know what? Can you explain the rules?
Yeah. So the way it's going to work is there's a bunch of questions. We'll see how many we get through in today's session. But you join, obviously, using that builder ID.
Yeah.
Once we're in, the question will be asked about one of our amazing tools, and there'll be 4 options. The way you get points is it's not only do you need to have the correct answer, but you also need to be the fastest at getting the answer. So if you're really fast, you get the right answer, you get more points. If you're slower, then you lose out on points. Obviously, the risk is if you are super, super fast, but you go for the wrong one too fast and you might miss out and stuff like that. Got some Chris, sorry, good morning, evening, whatever time of day brings to us. It's very early for Darko. Thanks for spending time with us.
5:13 a.m. Pacific, just so you know, friends. I have a big old mug of coffee here, so I'm gonna survive. But okay, that sounds fair, Steph. And by the way, you can still join this trivia challenge even after we start. So it's like people can kind of catch up as well, just so you know.
Yeah, someone else is in the 5 a.m. club.
There you go. Shout outs to Vitauto. Hey.
Yeah, Darko's putting in the work. I love how Chris has now discovered the little emoji things now, and I feel like every stream he's going to start using it.
Do I have? So that emoji it's me holding a Commodore 64. Can I grab one? I can grab one. So, hey, that's the recreating the emoji. Okay. Let's
just also before we start, there's a question. What's the session code? So there isn't a session code. It's what's on the screen. So it's the 622303. So if you just go to that URL or scan that QR code, it will take you there. But like we said, you need that Builder Center ID to be able to join and to enter the prize draw throughout. Okay, should we get started? Like we said, people can join.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Let's do it. Okie dokie.
Let's see how this plans out.
Okay, first question. How do you control cost of your AWS infrastructure during development? Use minimum variable. Oh, go on.
Go ahead.
Okay, use minimum variable resources for dev, tear down dev environments, use serverless to scale, or all of the above. Click your answer. to be able to get some of those points. What are you going to say, Darko? Sorry.
Well, this is I wanted to comment on the question here, right? Like, as you're developing your applications, if you're building stuff on the cloud, it is incredibly important to control the costs, because spinning up that big R5 18XL instance can be pricey. So understanding how you can kind of control all those things and this is correct. It's all of the above.
Yes.
See, like people here have been mostly correct. And let's comment on the answers here for a second, right? So use minimum viable resources size for development environments, right? And this is kind of like when you're building some stuff out, you should use the smallest resource type that makes sense, right? If you're building an application that requires gigabytes of RAM, you may not use the T290 instance. You may have to use something bigger, but something that's minimally viable and that can still replicate the majority of the applications you're building.
Yes.
Tear down environments, right? This is where your discussion about infrastructure as code, right? When you're building stuff on AWS, on the cloud, if you're not using infrastructure as code, it is incredibly hard to tear down your development environments because you just have to do all of it manually. So using something like infrastructure as code definitely helps you in taking it all down. And lastly, using serverless scale to zero services wherever possible. Basically, serverless services don't cost you anything unless you're using them with a caveat most of the time. But it's a great way for you to kind of like save money both in development and in production as well. So yeah, and Steph is coming here from the world of finance, so definitely.
Yeah, the world of FinOps, the optimization, like thinking about this, it's the same, especially with a lot of this stuff, like you wouldn't have a kind of, I was about to say a 4x4, but I know people do that in the States, but you wouldn't have the light on all day, every day in your front room if no one's in there. Or you wouldn't need to have some giant computer if all you ever do is run Excel. Like all these kind of things, taking it down to zero. If you're not going to use stuff, like why spend money on it, I think is the big thing for me. So what I would also say, just as a behind the scenes thing, guys, just so you know, when we're streaming, there might be a slight delay between where you're seeing us and what's happening on screen. So I really recommend wherever you've joined the trivia, and you can still join with that link or with that QR code, make sure you have that open while looking at us, because it will be slightly in delay. We don't want anyone to miss out on the questions because the time is slightly different. So yeah, bringing it up. So it's that 622303 is the code you want to do. Should we try the next question? Okay.
Well, let's try the next question. Yeah.
Okay.
So let me read this one. With AI coding assistants, what gives the assistant? What do you give the assistant so it could do its job better before it even starts generating code? More tokens, rules/steering docs, your GitHub API keys, or the path of your code base? Put your answers in the thing. This is kind of in the modern world of coding assistants. What is this thing you give your coding assistant so it can do a really better job? Because this thing actually is the difference between a good job and a really good job. So look at that.
I was going to give it all my API tokens.
Yeah, just
my keys. Is that all right?
It's correct.
Just my login.
Just
everything.
Yeah.
Actually, I just have a TXT file full of all of my passwords. Is that right?
Passwords. Steps _ passwords.txt. Pass it on to an LLM. I see a lot of the distributed answers here, and let's be honest, like besides number 3, you're all correct to an extent. You should always give it more tokens. It's just will try to eat as much tokens as it can. You should not give it your GitHub. I mean, the thing is, you can give it your GitHub API keys. That's not a problem. But it just won't do anything better with them. Sure. And the path to your code base, I mean, that's absolutely the fact that you just pointed at a code base, that it helps you. However, in the world of developer productivity, when we talk about a coding assistant here and we ask it to do a better job, giving it a set of rules or steering docs or system prompts or whatever you want to call these things is absolutely critical for making it do a better job.
Yeah. Because we're not just talking about one singular thing. Like using more tokens, giving a better input is going to be beneficial for sure. But we're thinking bigger. We want you guys to develop at scale. This is where if you're using something like Q, using customizations is a great idea. Or you can also give access to things like you can go into GitHub now and use Q with that, but it's a slightly different kind of concept.
Exactly.
Someone's quite honest with their answer. Like I gave you code base, but it was the wrong answer. But now we know. Now we know.
It's not 100% wrong answer. Yeah, it's not 100% wrong answer. It is wrong to the thing we're looking for. And actually, I'm going to share my screen from my different laptop. So give me just bear with me for a second. Entire screen like that. I'm going to ask Chris to share my screen right now. He should.
I can do it.
Something should. Thanks. Yeah. So I'm going to show you an example of QCLI in this case. And the way I instruct QCLI to work with me. Now, this is not necessarily for just a single development project, but for anything we do, because I use QCLI as my all-day assistant. Basically, for everything I'm using QCLI for a lot of things. So from just taking notes to even researching to building stuff to just everything. And I've crafted a series of notes or instructions or rules or whatever you want to call these things for QCLI to be able to work with me better. So I'm going to show you a little bit of them. So I'm going to go to my AWS Amazon Q directory and rules. So here, I have a couple of rules. Actually, I have 3 rules available to Amazon QCLI. And let's open up the Darko one. So default Darko. Basically, this tells who I am. I tell Q who I am and how do I like to work. Like, I like Rust. I can use Python and TypeScript. I want to use NeoVim as my coding things. I prefer technical explanations, go detailed. Here are the projects I work on currently. Here come a couple of my unique interests, all those kinds of things. So I give QCLI like a little bit of a, here's who I am, and here's how you talk to me when we do coding. And this makes it so much better because it never does it ever, when I start a new question, never does it ever go into let's discuss your project in Java. I don't do Java. Let's do Rust.
Darko, how did you pass this into QCLI? Sorry, did I miss?
Okay, so let me show you. So if you open up QCLI and you have a thing called there's a thing called context/context. You can basically show context, and it will you point it to certain places, right? So in this case, since the last update, it actually didn't update it, but I can do context add, and then I can do a path. I can do something like, let me show you something like this. I will copy it, so context add, and then like this, but I will do the following. A global path, AWS, Amazon Q, rules, boom. Okay, so if I do context show, it has these files in use. So now anytime I talk to it, it will know who I am. So even if I would do now open up Q, it has all of those things already in context. So if I do usage, you will see that it has slight usage already from tools and stuff. So if I do context show, why didn't I save? Wait a second. Context add, and then this AWS like that. Okay. Oh, okay. Because it's temporary. That's the problem. Right. Never mind. Ignore me. So I have to do it differently. Context show. It has changed, definitely. So it's a temporary. So this is a temporary thing. How do I add it permanently? Context help add. I wonder how do you do it. I'm sure there's a little config settings for Amazon QCLI. But yes, now if I would ask it usage, it would read the context file. See a bunch of context here. So if I say who am I, it should be able to kind of recall who I am based off of my context. I also use an MCP server. We'll talk about MCP servers in a second, but like it's going to be able to read information, who I am, your dark domain, all those things. But it knows all of these things before it. So even when I go ahead and start my any sort of coding assistant, coding stuff, it knows all of these things about.
That is very, very cool. I didn't know you could do that. So specifically, I love that. We had a quick question.
Yes.
There's from, let me pull this up, which was from Vortex. Oh wait, hang on. Where are we now? VM, sorry. Is there a voice command option? Now, I'll say my answer. I don't know if this is correct, but I 2 years ago had shoulder surgery, so I couldn't use my arm. So I set up voice command stuff on my laptop. So I just use dictate quite a lot. So what I'll often do is if I'm doing like a big prompt into Q, I will enable dictate and I'll just talk it out rather than type it. That's how I do it. But Darko, is there anything native that I'm missing?
There's nothing native. And this has been asked for both QCLI and Kiro. People have been asking like, when can we get the voice command thing? And I may be an old fart, but like I find the voice interaction very imprecise. So like I understand. So here's when I use voice. I use voice like yourself with the dictate command. By when I want to talk to Q, when I just want to plan a thing. Like, hey Q, I want to talk to you about, I have an idea about a thing. Can you tell me a couple of options? And then we just kind of discuss and I tell, okay, take a note about this because put it in my little notes. And then I want to do it later on. So unfortunately, there's no way to do it right now. But I'm sure somebody here out there in chat can use Amazon QCLI or Kiro or whatever to actually build such a thing. Because
challenge to the chat. I love it.
Exactly. Amazing.
I'm going to bring up, we've got 2 more questions, but don't forget, folks, if you want to enter our competition to win $200 worth of credit and a very, very cool keyboard, find this builder article. We got the link in the chat. Go on there, comment. What is your favorite developer productivity tool? You can see some at the bottom. Mine's infrastructure as code. Darko's down here. And don't forget, you can also follow us. Follow us on here. This is a place where I produced a lot of articles recently, a bunch on Amazon Q. Darko produces a ton on developer productivity tools and lots of different topics. So make sure you give us a follow. You can create your own articles too. And if anyone wants to follow, you could just look out for my alias.
Beautiful. Okay, shall we go on to the next question? I've talked long enough.
Oh, wrong way. There we go. There's the keyboard. Oops. This is the keyboard. Don't forget, make sure you comment if you want a chance to. There's not that many comments. There's only 9 comments so far. So almost a 1 in 10 if me and Darko are allowed to compete.
Maybe. You know what? You should not comment on the article. Let us.
Yeah, actually don't. Like, I'm sure you do it with this very nice fancy keyboard and 200 credits. We had 2 more questions that I'll quickly ask. Which is, if I cloned a repo locally, can I use this as my context as well?
Yes. However, depending on the coding assistant, it usually knows how to consider your code as context. It doesn't load it all into context because that would be just shenanigans. There's a lot of content there. It knows how to read the content of your contents of your directory and then pick and choose the files it needs to look at. So yes, the answer is absolutely yes, you can, but it is not as typical as like as the context I've showed you. It's a little bit different. So it's a little bit more smart when it does that. So
yeah. And then can I ask you to evaluate a project? Yeah, you can.
Yes.
You can right click on them and be like, you can run a lot of stuff in the code itself if you're watching something in your IDE. Or is there a review command, if I remember that right?
You can do that, but you can literally even just tell it, hey, here's my project, here's what it does. Tell me how I can make it better. Ultimately, my advice for you when you're asking an LLM, a coding assistant, to evaluate your projects, give it a little bit more precise ask. Like, can you please help me with my projects? I want to understand, am I parsing the command line correctly? Am I writing to the database better? Is my documentation good? So something a little bit more precise. If you say just evaluate, it's going to probably give you a lot of non-answers. So,
and then last question, I think is Amazon QCLI free?
There is a free tier. Amazon QCLI has a free tier. There's a pay tier as well. There's you actually, you know what? You can sign up for Amazon QCLI for free using a builder ID. So if you do not have a builder ID, the perfect time to get it. So
yeah, exactly. Or also, I would say if you number one, obviously go and get the free tier one using your Builder Center ID. But if you go into Builder Center and follow me, you'll find some lovely articles about the free tier that AWS released this year, where you can get another $200 worth of credits to take advantage of things like Amazon Q and get the developer the license for. So if you want to spend your money on that, then of course go check that out.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Let's do a quick leader. Let's do a leaderboard. See who's in the lead. So I have three keyboards.
I mean,
I have keyboards.
I get it.
And NND are all in the top. So well done, those two. Chat, let us know if that is you. Let's go into our next question. All right, I'll read this one. What programming language was CDK originally written in? JavaScript, TypeScript, Python, or Java?
Interesting.
So pick on one of your answers.
And there's an actually really cool story behind this and how other languages are supported as well, because CDK, or the AWS Cloud Development Kit, which is our infrastructure as code tool, supports a plethora of languages. And there's a very interesting way of how does it do it. I actually need to figure out what's the name of the tool it uses. AWS CDK. I think it's this one. No. I know. Is it this one? Yes. Okay. Got it. Look at that. TypeScript, Python. I mean, hey, a lot of people said Python.
Yeah.
It's not. Actually, it is TypeScript technically. However, this is a very interesting kind of discussion now. If it's TypeScript, why not JavaScript? Because ultimately TypeScript compiles into JavaScript. So yes, TypeScript is the correct answer. It's the most commonly used language in CDK, and you will see that's basically where a lot of people build their projects in CDK using TypeScript. However, it does compile into JavaScript, and it uses a platform called JSII. This is basically I'm going to drop a link in the... Can I drop a link? I'm going to drop a link to Chris, and he can drop it later on. But it uses a framework called JSII. JSII is the thing that allows CDK to be translated into different languages. So the reason we have CDK in Python, in Golang, in .NET, in Java, in JavaScript is because of JSII. So very, very cool. Steph, what language do you use? What language do you use in CDK?
I don't use CDK.
You don't use CDK? What?
Do you know? I don't even know, because I have used it. We use it a lot for building up workshops. I feel like chat is going to shame me as well for not using CDK. I have used it before, but it's one of those things where, because I spent so much time building CloudFormation and Terraform, I just haven't kind of ventured over to it. And if you're a lot of what and I feel like maybe Darko does this as well, a lot of what we try and do when we're doing things like for records or for little kind of test runs is as scrappy and as quick as possible. So I haven't invested the time, which is so embarrassing to say.
I agree. And as a CloudFormation user myself, I get it. I get you. It is sometimes easier
or more advanced. Wait, Darko, actually, tell me why would you say I should get on board with CDK?
That's a great question. That's a great question, Steph. Let me tell you. Well, so AWS CDK, especially for people who are developers, gives them the same look and feel of building their applications and building their infrastructure, because it kind of provides you with like a single language-ish type of building things out. Gives you a little bit more flexibility in the way things are built. And unlike CloudFormation, it comes with sane defaults. So, an example. How many lines of code does it take to build a VPC in CloudFormation, right? It takes 127 lines of code, roughly. It takes 1 line of code to build a VPC in CDK. So there's a lot of like optimizations and sane defaults available in CDK. However, it does require you to know a little bit about TypeScript or Python or whatever language you choose. So it has a slightly bigger learning curve than Terraform or CloudFormation, but I do encourage people to check it out. Definitely worth the investment. Huge fan of CDK myself.
Nice. Chris has also shared the link on wherever you're watching about getting onto Amazon free tier if you're excited and want to try CDK and not have to pay for anything. That is the way to do it.
Also kind of like in the terms of our first question and like tearing down development environments, with the flexibility of CDK being a programming language, being a framework within like a programming language, it has a lot of flexibility in like deploying and managing development environments. Like it can read environment variables, and like if you're currently developing this on your workstation, it's gonna make sure to deploy only the dev environments instead of prod environments. So there's a lot of flexibility you have out there to build stuff with CDK once you get used to it. So again, it takes a little bit of time for you to kind of like, depending how versed you are with the language, but
it's when I was in it, it like made sense when I was working on it. But then as soon as you kind of go out of there, okay, so far apart from me and Zucker, we have a bunch of different things. Terraform, love it. Visual Studio, VS, Vim, IAC2, Amazon Q, QCLI. Great. Guys, get in the chance. Go in there, make sure you can enter into this little competition by going on to this URL. We'll get Chris we're making Chris work hard today. He's gonna get to jump in the chat. Otherwise, I'll try and bring up the link to the builders content. I believe this is the one, so check that out, grab it in your kind of code one, or if you just go on there and search for this in there, you will find it or find me, one of the two. Next question, Darko.
Let's go for the next question.
Okay, don't forget you can still join by scanning the QR code or looking at the trivia link that we have in the chat. Do you want to read this one?
Yes. Which AWS service is Amazon Q built upon? Amazon Lex, Amazon Bedrock, Amazon Comprehend, or Amazon Poly? Interesting how all of these things have something to do with, could be tangential to Amazon Q, but only one is the absolute correct. In this case, like there's no like, oh, both of them technically are correct. No. Only one is correct, and I'm interested to see what chat says. I look at that.
I've made the timer for this one super long, even though it's one of the simpler questions. To give people time to kind of join, to see if people can catch up.
Well, that's okay. So I think maybe this is for people who don't know what Q is. Actually, Amazon Q developer, we're specifically talking, but every Q product here is kind of built upon this. It's your natural language powered coding assistant, AWS assistant, whatever you want to call it here. So from the thing you've seen on my laptop a moment ago, the command line application, to the thing inside of your AWS console where you can ask it a question about billing and stuff. To even a thing inside of your IDE. So definitely a thing that here's to helps you out on building stuff on AWS. My favorite feature of QCLI when it came out is its native ability to run AWS APIs. To invoke the AWS API. So I could literally just ask it, how much do my S3 buckets cost? Now, it didn't have that feature built in, like it doesn't know how much things cost, but it was smart enough to run the appropriate API calls to basically get me that from Cost Explorer or wherever it gets the thing. So huge fan of that. So just huge fan of that. So I love it so much.
I did it too early. Cancel. Keep going.
There we go.
I realized. I thought it was gonna. I'm just too scared to do something wrong and accidentally end the quiz. Oh, hey! Yes, almost everybody got it correct.
Look at
Bedrock.
chat. Look at chat.
AWS's product for all your things around Gen AI, all the ways to access it. Well done for everyone for getting that right. This is the underlying service that kind of manages it. So you can access the different models, a few different models you can use when it comes to Amazon Q developer. Can you choose the model in the CLI? I know you can choose it in the IDE. Yeah.
Yes, you can. So QCLI supports model? I think it supports 3 models right now. Claude Sonnet 4, Claude 3.7 Sonnet, and Claude 3.5 Sonnet available. Now, the reason we're saying Amazon Q is built upon this is because, in essence, Amazon QCLI, I don't think we officially stated. So if somebody from the service team is watching this, we're sorry. But basically, it's built upon Amazon Bedrock. The services, the models it actually uses are running on Amazon Bedrock. So, and Amazon Bedrock is like the bedrock. Oh my god, it is the bedrock. It is the platform where a lot of our coding, a lot of our LLM applications are actually based upon. The models that are being called are running on Amazon Bedrock. So, definitely, cool. Excellent.
Check if there are any questions in the chat. No, I think we're good. If anyone has any general questions, please feel free to put them in the chat through this episode. And obviously, don't forget, you've got to enter the quiz. I feel like I want more people to enter the quiz, the challenge to win the new set of the new keyboard. But yeah, let's move on to the next question. So what provides more functionality to your AI coding assistant? So what more functionality? MCP servers, Python libraries, more tokens to answer again, clear instructions on how to use the AWS CLI. Love the Python libraries. Nothing else. Just Python libraries.
Just give them libraries. Now, this is a very kind of a key thing that we have coding assistants for the last couple of years, and we've started recently kind of expanding their capabilities and how can they do stuff. And the answer is MCP servers. Yeah. So, Steph, what's an MCP server?
Okay. I feel
what does it stand for? What does it stand for? Model Context Protocol.
Yes. It's one of those things where I'm terrible now. You can tell my knowledge gap because I'm like, I've got MCPs installed. I use them all the time, especially the pricing one when it comes to calculating stuff. Where a friend of mine just released a cloud financial management optimization one. I have the knowledge one set up because I know it helps improve the functionality of my Amazon Q developer. But the way they're structured under the hood, from my understanding, there's a bunch of kind of scenarios and knowledge that you're basically giving to your Amazon Q developer so that it can create things with a bit more information. That's probably a bad explanation. Does that sound about right?
Yes. I'm gonna drop a link. Well, Chris is gonna drop a link to a video of my colleague Mike Chambers explaining what MCP servers are in essence. But in essence, folks, an MCP server is just Model Context Protocol is a protocol that translates that standardizes tool usage on large language models. And tool usage is not something that's terribly new. It's basically giving your model the ability to run certain things or access certain things or have additional context or invoke commands. In the past, we could do this, but it was very manual. You had to basically program it in. You have to make custom routines for your large language model to be able to execute certain commands. So what MCP did is MCP is the USB. It's basically a unified standard protocol on how these specific tools are run, and it's just great. Like from Steph mentioning here, like some of the MCP servers they built, and actually even the word MCP server is a little bit loaded because not everything is a server per se. It's a binary application running on your computer. It's not necessarily a server in the traditional sense.
Because when you hear that, I think I first thought of it as like connecting to something, and there was some kind of compute existing that was pulling this. But now I know it's just living in things like GitHub repos, and it's this kind of knowledge base.
Exactly. Well, it's basically a thing that runs on your computer, and like it doesn't have to be remote. There are remote MCP servers, but more often than not, you're going to be using local MCP servers for the time being. But it is an excellent tool, excellent approach to give your LLM more features. Let me give you another example of this. Let me see if I can do this. I'm currently opening up my I'm gonna ask Chris to share my screen. Not yet, please. Not yet, Chris.
While he's bringing that up, don't forget to add your favorite developer productivity tool into the comments in here on this article for your chance to win this very, very jazzy keyboard that I will be very jealous that you have. And also $200 worth of credit if you just splurge on any kind of services you want to dive into, and maybe even make your own MCP server.
Exactly. So let's see how can I show this to you. I want to show you an MCP server that I find incredibly useful. Let's see. Yeah. So let's see. Okay. So
share your screen.
You can share my screen. Yes. I need to do another context ad. Give me just a second. That's not it. It is AWS, Amazon Q. If I can remember rules like that, and then I think this is the correct one. Okay, context show. Good. Okay, so does chat know what Obsidian is? Obsidian, not the melted Obsidian. Yes, not the melted lava or the hardened lava, but the actual application. Obsidian is the best note taking tool in the world. It's just amazing.
Oh, I have heard.
Huge fan of that. Like I've been using Obsidian for ages, right? So now I have an MCP server called MCP Obsidian running. MCP Obsidian basically allows my LLM, in this case QCLI, to talk to Obsidian. That means it can both read and write content from Obsidian. So what I can do is I can tell it, looking into my notes, tell me how far have I gotten in Game Boy development.
Are you building a Game Boy?
I'm building games for the Game Boy. So, first of all, it's gonna do so. Ignore this. This is some different type of MCP. I don't even want to cover it right now. It's a thing. Obsidian simple search. Look at that. It's gonna go ahead and search Obsidian for my notes, and it's hopefully gonna find my Game Boy development note and say, okay, I found the note, and it's gonna perfect. It found this thing. There's a note called Game Boy Coding Adventure. And say yes, you can read this. It's gonna consume that note from Obsidian. It's gonna say, oh, it's going to do a couple of things, but it's going to be able to tell me, sure, yes, do that. Come on. And now, hopefully, in a second, you don't need to do this. Sure, fine. But basically, it's able to get this information from my existing notes, and it's going to be able to tell me information. Additional context is additional knowledge base for it, in essence, but from my existing notes. So it's not only that it can read things, sure. It's not only that it can read things, but it can also write things. So based on your comprehensive notes, here's what I've done, and you're ready for building. Blah, 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 blah. So, and this is all not natively supported in QCLI, but it is supported thanks to an MCP server that I have installed and running here. So,
wow, that's pretty cool. I'm very impressed about the Game Boy thing as well. Yeah. I feel like any millennials in the chat. Shout out your favorite Game Boy game.
Exactly. Game.
I had a Game Boy, like OG one, and then I sold it at Boot Fair for like £13, and I still regret it to this day.
It is for folks out there wanting to experiment with some old school coding. Game Boy coding is really good. It's because it allows you to learn some assembly language, but it's also a very accessible assembly language, if that makes sense. So great. Okay, move it. I think we have a time for a couple more questions. Do you think?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and Chris is saying Donkey Kong is what he would play. So let's take this down. So quick leaderboard check-in. We got Kiri Webb, Ratwick77, and Faz are in the top. So we're going to do a couple more. We'll see where we finish out on.
Okay.
But of course, guys, don't forget the real competition is over here. Entering in to our Builders Center article. Go and drop your favorite developer tool in there to get a prize. Right, let's go to our next question. Do you want to read this one out, okay?
Yes. Which DevOps principle does AWS CloudFormation help implement? Continuous delivery, infrastructure as code, communication and collaboration, or monitoring and observability? And I think we mentioned CloudFormation today a couple of times, and we've talked about it. So I'm sure chat is going to know what the answer is. But it is one of those. And calling it the DevOps principle is also weird. It is it is it's part of DevOps. It's part of the modern way we build applications, deploy stuff on the cloud. But yes, it's absolutely infrastructure code. Continuous delivery. I see what you did there.
Yeah, it's kind of a trick question.
It's technically, yes, sure, it makes a lot of sense. Through CI/CD, you can deploy infrastructure using CloudFormation, but in essence, in the base of it, it is offering. I'm sorry, my camera lost.
He's just in God voice mode.
You know what happened? I kicked my power supply. It does things. Give me, Steph, entertain the audience. I'll be back in a second.
Yes. And so funny. Who hasn't been there when you've actually disconnected something? But yeah, infrastructure as code, folks. If you are getting into, especially using things like Amazon Q Developer for building stuff, and you haven't used infrastructure as code, this is a prime way to learn. So a lot of what we're doing these days, I remember manually creating all of my infrastructure as code for all of my applications, and now I can kind of give it some information and I can say, hey, can you go build this for me? And one thing I'm looking at more at the moment is using customizations, where I'm creating customization, connecting it to either a GitHub repo or an S3 bucket full of examples of how I like to build my code. And then passing that in, creating customization with that, and then it can use that. So you can select customization in your IDE and say, I want it to use this one. This is how I like things done. So similar to what we were showing with Darko, with the kind of context, but more of with a code base as well, which is a great way to build it. And then I can say, like, build when I want it to build out something, it knows the style I like and certain parameters and stuff like that. For example, I always want things like in Graviton because it's more efficient and cost effective. So kind of focusing on that. So do start building, and then you can tear it, you can spit it up, tear it down. One thing I love that Q does as well is it gives me all the CLI commands to deploy it, so I don't have to go to the console, and it kind of helps me be a little bit kind of faster. Okay, good to see you back, Darko.
Hello. My little camera video switcher here is plugged into the thing underneath my desk, and I kicked it, and the power went out, and
did like instant chaos.
But I must say that infrastructure code is one of the things that changed the way I build stuff. So absolutely 100%. It's one of the developer tools out there that are absolutely required when you're building stuff on the cloud.
This person agrees and says, when I learned about IAC, I thought it was magic, which I agree. And someone has also counted the lines for a VPC as 127. Depending on your spacing. So it kind of CDK will summarize that. And Chris solo step. I know the fitter when I'm by myself. All right, let's try and do at least one more question before we jump off the stream. So I'll read out the very last one, which is, what year was Amazon Q Developer first announced? 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Folks, this is the last one. This is going to be the one that defines the leaderboard.
Feels like ages ago, but I don't. Also, it's not. It's all very new. So,
the world before Gen AI. What we doing?
Yeah, like what were we doing before Gen AI? But yeah, things have definitely changed quite intensely.
All right, let's have a look at the answer. Most of you got it right. Well done, folks. 2023, so not that long ago. But this is Q Developer specifically. Does this count? It depends if you consider Code Whisperer. There's obviously business. There's so many different aspects to it. When the IDE, we also have Kiro now. So there's so many different things building in this space. So keep an eye on it, is what I would say.
Do you know? Well, so you mentioned it, but like the Q Developer was initially called what?
Code Whisperer.
Code Whisperer, yes. And before that, was it? So before generative AI was a thing, we had a tool that would, oh my god, was it DevOps Guru or something like that? I think with this AWS
DevOps. Yes, I remember that. Yeah. The Guru thing rings a bell.
Yeah, it was DevOps Guru. It was like a machine ML powered application optimization thing, and I think this is where the first time I saw like, oh, somebody's gonna look at your code. That was a while ago. My god. And yes, Code Whisperer was a thing. Basically, was a thing before it was called Q, but also QCLI, and the tool you're using for QCLI was a tool called Fig, which became Code Whisperer, and then Fig, yes, FIG. So it has changed quite immensely over the last couple of years. Well, look at that. Well, Chad, I mean, those have been all the questions. Can we look at the leaderboard to see who
Yeah,
tells
let's end the
actually
session
who's the
and
best one?
All right, let's just go on the leaderboard because I'm super paranoid that I'm going to cancel it by accident. So in first place, we have Rutwick77. In second, we have Kiri Webb. And in third, we have
Nishant.
Yeah. Well done. Very changeable in the last one. So you're just going for pride, but you can go and brag to everyone. Take a screenshot of that and say, look, that's me. I am amazing at developer productivity. I should get a promotion. I should be able to get all of the swag. I should get a trip to reInvent. Go and sell it to your employers, and hopefully you'll be able to. But
exactly.
If you want a chance in winning the real swag, which is this very, very funky keyboard, then what you need to make sure you do is head on over to this article. We'll have a little refresh and see how many people have entered. Let's have a look. 17 guys, there's still lots of room in it. Go in there and make sure you comment. And we'll kind of, all the T's and C's are down in here. But let's have a look at some of the comments and see what people have chosen. Terraform. I'm not sure what that is. IntelliJ. Oh, I have heard of this. Notepad. Love it. SageMaker Notebook. Oh, Kiro Q. Okay. Yes. Getting in some Kiro chat. Amazon Q, I see. What else have we got? IDE, custom apps, Terraform, Visual Studio Code, VS Code, and Vim. I love it. So there is still a little bit of time, folks. Go and make sure that you comment on there. And if you want to stay up to date with any of the stuff that we're putting out, make sure to follow Darko and I on that platform for all the amazing kind of streams that we put out or articles and things like that. And you need that builder idea to comment, so make sure you go and do that. But last kind of final bits, Darko, anything you want to kind of summarize?
I definitely want to shout out the person who said Notepad++. It's the OG of text editors. Yes. At least like OG when it comes to Windows. So I do love me some Notepad++ here. Love it. I mean, when it comes to the developer productivity, this field is going to be changing as the industry changes. Developer productivity is not the thing that makes the thing; it's the thing that helps you make the thing, right? If that makes sense. So it keeps changing as the way the industry changes. Are we using the cloud? Are we using containers? Are we using serverless? Are we using coding assistants? All of those things are kind of evolving the world of developer productivity. And as a developer, I love to make tools work for me. So do not sleep on developer productivity tools. Do not ignore a developer productivity tool because you just never used it before. Try it out. Check it out. Experiment and find the right ones that are the best for your workflow. So
yeah, and I feel like Dark is calling me out on the CDK.
A little bit, but yeah.
Okay. And Chris has shared his in the chat, which is
MS Paint.
Microsoft Paint.
Yes, exactly.
Get those. How else you drawing your architecture diagrams?
You mentioned, Steph, something. We talked about we talk about of optimization when it comes to like financial optimization of development environments. Yeah. You don't need this massive computer to run Excel. Did you know in Las Vegas during reInvent, the exact same week we're doing reInvent, it's the Excel World Championship in Las Vegas. Just so you know,
way.
Excel World Championship. It's
Are they doing it in the Pyramid Place?
I have no idea.
I
don't know where they're doing
That's
it,
like the game place.
But it is something to behold. If you've never seen Excel speedrunning, you're welcome. Enjoy your weekend watching Excel speedrunning. It's a thing of beauty.
And with that, folks, that brings us to the end of today's live stream with a great call to action. Please go enter on the article. You'll still be able to do so, I think, for the rest of the day. You might as well. There's not many people entered. And enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekends. And don't forget to get that builder ID to find out if there's other prizes we can give away in the future. We will see you all next time. Bye, Darko.
Bye.